Morning, Rock Hill. Pastor Kyle with the Monday morning sermon recap. Yesterday we looked at Psalm 42 and 43, battling against discouragement. How do we do so in a way that honors God and is godly? And we looked at four things that the psalmist does. The first thing he does is he preaches to himself. He doesn't just listen. The psalm is structured like one song with three verses, each ending in the same exact chorus. Why are you downcast, O my soul, and why are you within turmoil within me? Hope in God, for I will again praise God, my salvation and my God. He says that three times. And what the author's doing is he's not just listening to the inner monologue going on in his head constantly. He's actually preaching truth. He's actually speaking to his soul. And so the first key to wrestling with, fighting well with despondency, discouragement, is to not just listen to the inner monologue, but to actually preach to yourself, speak truth to yourself. Second is to state your desire. Tell God what you actually want. He says, God, I long for you like a deer longs for water. I long for you to be near. I long for you to vindicate me from my enemies. I long to not be the butt end of jokes anymore. And he actually visualizes what a unique worship experience of drawing near to the Lord might look like. Third is that he admits his struggles. He's honest with God about how he feels. And this is some pretty raw stuff. He says, I feel alone. I feel forgotten. I feel forsaken. I feel overwhelmed. I feel like I'm taunted and the butt end of jokes. God, would you help me? And he comes to God for help. He admits his feelings, he admits his struggles, but then in verbalizing those things, he's able to actually assess them. Then finally, the last thing he does is he remembers. He remembers a time in his life when God was especially near. Being a worship leader, he recalls a time of corporate worship where he was leading the people of God into the temple, where God was palpable, where God was near. In the midst of the time where God doesn't feel near, he remembers that. And then finally, he remembers who God is and remembers God's promises. He says, "Your steadfast love is with me every day, and your song is with me at night." And so there's no quick fix. The thing I love about this psalm is that it's a back and forth. There's multiple rounds of don't just do this, but do this and do this and do this, because that's often what it takes for discouragement to lift. So preach to yourself, ask God for what you want. Admit your struggles, be honest with God, and remember those times when God was near, and remember the promises of God. Hope that you battle against discouragement well and that you're able to minister to one another.